Hey everyone, I'm Nay, and here I have set 71861, the Old Town 15th Anniversary. This set officially released on January 1st and retails for $269.99 in the UK. It contains 4,851 pieces and has 23 minifigures. This is a part 1, so I'll be able to upload them more consistently, so stay tuned for the others. But if you enjoy these videos and would like to see more, then make sure to like the video and subscribe, as it helps me and the channel out so much and gets us closer to the goal of 200 subscribers by the end of the year. But for now, let's get into the review. So I'll start off with the main gate, and this looks beautiful. The design's awesome, the colours look great, it's just amazing. On the far left side, it's built up with some rocks and a little bit of grass here, and there's even a few little fallen petals, which you'll see soon are very abundant in this set, and it just gives it a bit more life. Further up is some grey wall with some exposed brick, and then it turns to white with a mix of other bricks. Then there's this little gap in the wall which uses this gold window piece and a bit of dark red around it. Just next to that is this little cherry blossom tree, which looks great. There's a few of these throughout the set and they're really nice. Then the roof area here is very similar to the old Legacy Monastery, and it looks really nice and the tiling effect is great. Then we have the main archway and it looks super nice. The grate is a bit odd since it's mainly used for rocks, but still it's decent. On either side is this little sticker which looks really nice. Further on up there's these two red lanterns on some dragon heads which looks really nice too, and the little tassel just looked that bit better. The main archway is mostly red and has a really nice effect just underneath with these alternating red and tan squares, and just above that is this sand green arch which really stands out but looks super nice. There's two sets of these Japanese style roofs and they look great, especially the curved corner pieces, and throughout the set they use this frog piece on them a lot, which are pretty funny, and LEGO does have a tendency of sneaking frogs, especially into larger sets. At the very top, it has this really nice gold bit with a crest of sorts in the centre. This little bit of the wall is identical to the other side, so there's not a whole bunch to stay. However, just past it is the big difference with this plum blossom tree, I believe they're called. And it's really cool how it's growing through the wall, and there's even bits of the leaves and branches growing around it, as well as its roots too. It's an interesting shape, and I like how there's little gaps since the tree would destroy the area around it, so it does make sense. And there's also a bunch of fallen petals, but they're like a yellowy here since up top the trees are more orange and yellow, unlike the white and pink bonsai ones, and they do sort of clash throughout the build. Lastly, outside is the end wall with a little bit of water leaking out and this lantern on top. Turning it around and going on the side, on the far right, there's not all too much to be seen. The only real things are some stones to stand on and a little candle. Then on the other side, it's the exact same, just a little lower. And next to it is this awesome poster for Zane from the Tournament Element with the Apologise symbol there. And it says he is alive in Ninjago, which is awesome. And then we can see the rest of that tree growing with a slightly smaller leaf area inside. Then just at the bottom is some water and a little frog. Then finally is the inside of the arch. It again is the same, it just has the same stickers but a bit less detailing. There's no lanterns and there's now a white and brown pattern just under the arches. At the bottom there's this rocky area with plenty of places to put minifigures, and this awesome banner up top with these two dragons looking at each other, with a tapestry design around the border and this large shuriken inside. At the back of the roof is a little hinge to open, and inside are two things. The first is the Prime Empire motherboard, which was quite important to the story and just looks super awesome. Obviously it's much bigger than in the show, but I think it looks amazing. Then there's also the Prophecy of the Green Ninja, one of the most important items in early Ninjago, and it's amazing to finally get. It was shown in Season 1 and I'm so glad we finally got it, and it looks amazing. Then we have the next build, which is the smallest area of the set, but it still looks awesome. Starting off at the right, it has this lovely little waterfall, and it is only small, but it's quite nice, especially compared to the torment of doing the water for gardens. Just above that are these two little stepping stone areas with a place to stand minifigures, and they're covered in this cherry blossom petals, and there's significantly more green here, which looks really nice. Just above that is this sign with another one of those lanterns, and the sign is pointing towards the museum and the post office, and the gate we just saw. Then as for the main area, it connects by these two ladders which can be moved above a little bit, and just underneath is a little open area with some purplish petals. Flipping it around and it really looks like a cliffside, especially with those two support beams and just with how sheer the rest of the side is. It's basically just a drop. There's another peach tree which looks really nice, and underneath we can even see some leaves as well as the little frog in some water. At the very front there's a sign saying Old Town, and turning it around there's some sort of broken flooring with these like lighter coloured planks with plenty of area to stand on, and this like little lantern. Moving that, we can see a sign saying Lookout, which if you remove this cool roof, we can get a better look inside and see this telescope. On the wall is this crossbow, which I think is for them to shoot at anyone they see through the telescope. Then on the desk is this candle, which seems to have melted since they use this piece to add a bit more bulk at the bottom. And finally is this little picture showing Kai and Nia's blacksmith shop, which is a neat little addition. But that's all for the first two builds. Oh, and the best bit is they all connect. I'll show them at the end, but for now these two can pop together like so. It's super easy, though I do wish it were a little stronger for connecting. For the side builds, first up is this little tea stand, and there's not a ton to it. There is a little bit at the front for a person to move it with, which is nice, and these two little wheels to move it on. At the back there's two of these little red lights which look nice, and there's these four little canopy type areas covering it. The roof is shaped similarly to the other roofs of the building, and inside is a little area with 2 cups and a teapot, and it's a nice little area, perfect for Sensei Wu. Then we have this little area with this awesome dark green roof which looks great, almost like a gazebo, and the sign at the front says Chucks. That removes really easy, which is a bit annoying since there's nothing holding it down. And inside is really nice. It's held up by these 4 pillars which has a sign saying open. Outside has this little stone to stand on, and the other side has various sizes of cut logs. Inside has some wood shavings on this like dark red floor, and 2 planks held in at the side there. Which are on the side of this table with some other smaller planks and a bit more of them shavings. On the desk there's also a mug for Chuck, as well as a little blueprint which shows the little horse carriage from the pilot with Wu riding it, and the ninja pushing, which is another awesome old reference. Then lastly is the best one, the statue of the first Spinjitzu master. It's a beautiful little shrine with loads of little rocks, leaves and some grass growing. On all 4 sides is a little candle flame with one of the 4 golden weapons, since he did create them, and it just looks amazing, especially with that awesome statue of him in the centre, and the torso print on it looks amazing. There's not much to it, but it's just such a spectacular build to get for this set. Moving on to the minifigures, and first up is Wu, who comes with his staff, which thankfully is colour accurate this time. Up until this point it's been brown, so it's great to finally see it in 10. As for his figure, it looks really nice, but isn't all too different from his others, and for him I quite like the more simple design compared to like the newer versions which are like over designed. Obviously he has the classic tan rice hat and his white wavy beard, but removing them we can see underneath, and he has a real serious face with almost like a frown, and he also has a mini beard and mustache along with a few wrinkles, which makes sense given these thousands of years old. In his torso he has his symbol in red, and the lining of his robes goes down to his legs, which I'll get to in a moment. He has some string tying that down, as well as a belt on his waist, and the bottom of that robe lining, and even has toe printing. On the back he has no head print because of his hat, but he does have a large version of its symbol on the back. Next up is Garmadon, who's a sort of mix between his pilot and Season 1 design. He has his Rise of the Snakes helmet with that little bone there, and personally one of his best face prints, the absolute maniacal smile he has there is awesome. He has a basically unchanged torso, which I believe they're his ribs on his torso, which looks epic and super dark, and then a purple belt tied around his waist. He does only have his plain legs, and in this set to represent his elemental energy they've given him these little studs as well. Here he has them in a pink colour representing his. Turning him around we can see his back muscles as well as the rest of that belt, and this much more serious and almost angry face print which I love. Then we have Arumi, and she's with us. Anyway, she just has a regular sword, however her hair is different from her original version. Here it's a more hard plastic, and originally it was more rubber, which is a neat little change. But apart from that, it is basically the same. Her face print's nice, it has that red paint across her face, but here she's smiling, which I believe is the first figure of her to have done that, which looks nice. Apart from that, she's pretty plain. She has some grey kimono lining, which is covered by a belt and some sort of tattered rags over her shoulder. but that's pretty much it. She has no leg printing either. What's interesting about her is her alternate face is based on a masked version from Crystallized, with this awesome blue and white design with this really angry face on it. And she comes with a hood to wear with this too, so it's sort of two figures in one. And on her back is just more of the belt and rags. Then we have Lloyd, who we have seen before, so make sure to check out my anniversary display video to see that and a comparison with his original suit. But real quick, he comes with his usual sword in gold, which is nice. He has the original shoulder pads from season 1, which is awesome to get, and looks great on him. He has this new hood piece for Legacy, which looks great, and the gold crest on his head's a lot more emphasised. On his torso, it's great. It's basically 1-to-1 to his original suit, except the armour on either side is gold here, and it looks really nice. And underneath we can see a bit of material through this open bit in the middle. You can see the bottom of this kimono on his legs, with his belt tied and more of these gold bits down there. Underneath his mask is his more serious look, and on the back he has a really weird looking smile. His back print has even more of that gold detailing, as well as his symbol, which looks weirdly oversized. It just looks really off. Then there's Kai, who again we have seen, except here he has his island hairpiece, which looks awesome. It's one of his better ones. My only complaint about the ninja in this is that some have these hairpieces, some have their normal ones, and some have masks. And I would have preferred them all to have stuck to one and kept it, to be honest. Anyways, he comes with the Sword of Fire, the original, which looks great. He has his normal face print with that angry look, and also the same shoulder pads as Lloyd. His torso is amazing and a serious upgrade on his original. The dark red armor looks awesome as ever, but the gold detailing is a lot more emphasized and just looks so much better. He has some sort of belt around his waist, and we can see his kimono lining go down through the torso and the bottom of the legs, which just look really nice. The grey stands out super well, and the gold is just a really nice bit of detailing. Turning him around, and for some reason his symbol doesn't line up with his shoulder pads, which is a bit of a shame. But underneath it we can see more of that armour and detailing along with his symbol, and on the back of his head is this super huge smile print, which is nice. Next up is Nia, who's in a remake of her original pilot outfit, and it looks great. She comes with these two blades, which actually originally released in her spinner, which is a neat reference. Hers also her original version, which is a bit of a letdown, seeing how much better her newer hairpiece is than this. She has her regular newer face print with a serious look, and the biggest change on her outfit is that she has her water phoenix down the side instead of the fire one. On her waist is a dark red belt with a plus pattern on it, and she has two little gold pendants along her chest. Her legs have a robe at the bottom with some more of the phoenixes, and it looks awesome. It's pretty basic, but still has a good amount of detail. Turning her around, she has this shocked and smiling face, and the belt pattern continues. Here's Jay, and he has this two giant wings, which is such an awesome reference, since in the earlier seasons he was an inventor, and we actually saw in season 8 that he made a pair of wings just like these when he met Woe. They are pretty poseable, but there's not a huge ton of movement, but still they're super cool. And to go with them, he has this pilot helmet with goggles which can move up and down. Those can be swapped with his normal ninja mask, which looks cool, but is a shame it's gold. But the good thing is, without it, the gold's barely noticeable. He comes with the Nunjutsu Lightning, which used this chain piece from last year's Fire Knight mech. They can't be fully held in both hands properly, but it can hold more accurate to in the show in a single hand. His face print's great, with this new angry one with a big open mouth. His torso has more detail, the arm's still silver, except the printing has some little gold lightning bolts, which I think blends well with the mask. It's held on by a belt, and we can see the kimono lining going down the middle and ending just on the legs. It has some silver on there too, and a little belt with some lightning bolts and some foot printing. On the back, he has this nice smiling face, as well as a lot more of that silver armour and his symbol. Then we have Chuck the Carpenter. From what I've heard, he was one of Sensei Yang's students who wanted to be a carpenter, so it's nice that his dream came true. He comes with a little pen and a hammer, and he feels like an off-brand Kai. He has this brown spiky hair, which I know many people used until the official one came out, like I did in Tournament of Elements. And he has this smirking face with a little mark on his face there. His torso is really similar to Kai's blacksmith one too. He has this little pouch on his apron, which is brown, and underneath is this dark tan shirt. Turning him around, he doesn't have another face print, but we can see the cross from the back on his apron. Next is Mistake, who I believe this is her first proper minifigure, and she also released in her Oni form at the same time, and it's so great to finally get her. She was a real mysterious character early on, Then in the Oni trilogy, she had a really huge part, so it's awesome to finally get her. She comes with this little cup of tea, which is perfect for the lady who runs a tea shop, and she's wearing the same rice hat as Wu. Her face looks old, but she seems to have a smirk on there too. Her torso's this like grey cardigan with a really nice helix pattern on there, as well as some buttons and pockets, and we can even see she has a white shirt underneath. Her legs are just dark grey, and the only thing on the back is more of that helix pattern on her cardigan. Finally, we have Crux. This is his younger version, obviously the one on the right is the current, and the most noticeable difference is, apart from his brother, this one is old, which is because he didn't travel in time. Now these are fairly different. The old one comes with this awesome mask with the logo on it, as well as this nice shoulder cape and these two time blades. The original just has two of those studs for his power, and it makes sense. Not only is the part retired, but they still have the power when they're young. Removing their part, we can see that the young one has this hairpiece in black, which is accurate to the show, and their faces are basically the exact same. Obviously the younger one doesn't have grey eyebrows, but their expression's the same with like this super angry look. On the torsos, the young version's red with the hands of time symbol on his chest there, and I love the red, silver and copper scheme. It works really well, and all the armor plates throughout look super nice. The old version's very similar, except it's dark red and has a lot more wear on it, and even this little hourglass and little details like that are awesome, since the armor will have aged like 40 years, and it's really cool. There's some fabric as well as a bit more armor on the legs and a bit of knee armor and some footprinting too. And on the old one, he has a chain for the hourglass, and again, it looks worn. Turning them around, and they both have a Dr. Saunders variant. However, the old version looks really skeptical, and the newer one looks a lot happier. And the new one looks a lot better too. As for the backs, they're basically the same, except the old version has more scratching, a bit more of that chain, and it looks older. The newer version looks a lot better with more detailing, and it's less thick of the lines. Overall, it looks awesome. The side builds are amazing, and I think the first Spinjitzu Master one would work great as a polybag. I'll hold off on my full thoughts until the rest of the build's reviewed, but right now it looks amazing. The level of detail and Easter eggs is awesome, and it's such a beautiful set. There'll be a lot more play feature in the other, but I'll see you in the next part. So make sure to like and subscribe for that, and to help reach the 200 subscriber goal by the end of the year. That's all for now, see you next time, bye!